What is up, Legionnaires? We're back at it to take another look at the next few weeks' new comic book day. This time for December 13th. I picked out 10 of the top titles that I'm looking forward to. If you want to see what they are, don't go anywhere. Hit that thumbs up and let's get it going. As always, a huge shout out to the homies over at Big Time Collectibles. Check out their website, follow them on social media. You can find them on Whatnot. They're always doing fantastic stuff. And if you need anything cleaned or pressed for this holiday season or any season, hit the description. Find the link to JustinComicx over on Instagram. Let him know you found him via the channel. He will take care of you for as little as $10 a book. And as always, a huge shout out to ABX Comics and Games, my local comic shop, without whom I would not be here doing this fantastic shop. They have a great Facebook group as well. Get into comics, tabletop gaming, all that good stuff right down below, as well as Pop's Attic on Instagram if you're looking for some back issues for super cheap. So let's get into it. This is my top 10 picks for this coming week's new comic book day. I'd also be interested to hear what you're looking forward to picking up. Be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what some of the top ones on your list are. But these are in no specific order, and this week is extremely DC heavy. Some weeks it's a little more so than not, and this is definitely one of those heavy DC weeks, but there are some great books coming out and they definitely deserve to be spotlighted, including starting off issue 3 of Wesley Dodd's Sandman. This is part of the 3 separate individual titles that they launched for the new Golden Age era. So you have Sandman, Jay Garrett Flash, as well as Alan Scott Green Lantern. Wesley Dodd drops first, and the whole concept behind this is really fantastic. You have Wesley Dodd's dealing with someone going into his house, burning it down and stealing his research. Now he's racing against time, trying to figure out who did it and why they did it and stop them before they take advantage of his Sandman technology. And he comes to find out it's a little too late. That's already happened. In this issue, we're supposed to be getting the reveal of who the villain is, as well as the very special name attached to the villain. It's really got me excited. This series is really got like a Golden Age vibe to it. All of these take place back in the 40s. Robert Venditti is absolutely crushing it. Can't wait. And another one that really took me by surprise is Beast World. They're doing a lot of these little micro events now that we're under the Dawn of DC banner. They did the whole Night Terrors thing, and now they're doing Beast World, like in and out in 2 months. It's not like a summer blockbuster that's a 7 to 12 issue thing that takes all year to release, just 2 months in and out. This time we're focusing specifically on the Titans first and foremost. The whole principle or the whole idea behind this was really, really cool. Ancient history says that Starro the Conqueror once battled the Necro Star, wasn't able to destroy this thing, so it imprisoned it. It is now loose, and in the process of the Justice League and the Titans stopping it on its approach to Earth, Garth, aka Beast Boy, morphed into a giant Starro to try to thwart it. In the process, he lost his consciousness from events, and now a giant continent-sized Garro let loose all these spores on the world. And being that it was originally formed from Beast Boy, the spores have a unique little cause effect on people. Instead of just taking them over, it takes them over and morphs them into beasts. In this issue, we'll be seeing if the heroes can get away with not getting infected themselves, as well as trying to assess the damage of the city. We're getting a lot of tie-ins along the way that kind of spotlight specific titles that if you're reading, you might be interested in, including this Titans Beast World tour, where every one shot features a different city in the DC universe. Last week we got Metropolis. This week we're getting Gotham. So be sure to be on the lookout for those if there's any Gotham centric characters you're big on, or if you're like a big super family guy, that's the thing to do. So other than that, I don't necessarily think all those tie-ins are needed. I've read a few of them. I enjoyed them, but they don't necessarily play to the bigger story arc here. Although Waller Rising from last week, while confusing probably to a new reader, was very important to the overall DC universe. Next up, I'm sad to see this one go. This is Danger Street issue number 12, the final issue from Tom King, and I think it's Jorge Fornes doing the art on this one. So back in the 70s, DC did this series of one-shots called First Issue Special, showcasing a lot of different heroes that you don't see too much these days. And this book right here features all of them on the cover, and it's a story bringing them all together under a murder mystery. And this story has been told from the vantage point of the Helm of Fate sitting on a bar sitting on a tabletop in a bar. It's been fantastic. It's just been absolutely a treat, very unique, and it's all come together so well. And I'm excited to see if the outsiders make it out of this one alive, if the sky ends up falling, and if Lady Cop gets her man in the end. And if you want to know what any of that means, check this series out. They'll be putting it out in a collected volume really, really soon. Next up, wow, this was an anomaly right here. This is under the DC Comics Black Label imprint. It's a prestige format size, so it will not fit your typical modern age bags and boards nor your normal short box. This is a magazine size format, which really plays to its strengths because this book is written and illustrated by the superstar artist Christian Ward. The whole concept behind it is the Court of Owls has a secret under Gotham, a secret doorway to the underneath, and it gets open and something comes out of it. And the something that comes out of it is a dark, twisted version of Batman, and he's looking for his Robin. It was hauntingly good. The artwork was absolutely stellar, so unique. If you didn't pick issue number 1 up, next time you're at your shop, at least open it up and look at it. That alone would probably get you interested enough to want to dive into this one. I'm excited to see what issue 2 holds and where this story goes. There's no telling. It is a little bit more violent than your standard comic book, so readers, be warned, if you're watching this and thinking about getting this for your kids or something, you might want to peek into it first. I'm not sure how many issues this one's going to run for, but I'm definitely on board. Christian Ward is a phenomenal artist. He also did that Aquaman Andromeda with Rom V about a year ago that I highly suggest as well. Next up, we have Superman Lost issue number 9 from Christopher Priest. This has been a treat. If you're interested in Superman and don't want to try to play catch up and dive into the main continuity stuff, this is a 10-issue maxi series that stands on its own merits. The concept is Superman got lost in space for 20 years, and when he comes back, it's only been a day to everyone else, but he faced great problems, feats, and he's dealing with a lot of the trauma from the excessive loss that he witnessed along the way. Lois, in an attempt to shake him out of his grief, went to Lex Luthor because she was that desperate, and he devised a plan to snap Superman out of it, which meant putting Lois in peril like she had never been in before, hoping that Superman would not only come to the rescue of Lois, but come to the fight of Lex Luthor, and he might have bit off more than he can chew. We're going to find out in this issue if not only is Superman going to make Lex regret it, but if Lois can honestly be saved. This is not the standard damsel in distress tied to the train tracks moment. She's just absolutely heinous what he did. This is like Lex as a purest villain that I've ever seen him. Christopher Priest is just such a fantastic writer. He did the most recently, in my experience, the Black Adam maxi series, reintroducing him to modern readers. It was fantastic as well. Another one I suggest. Next up, much like the Christian Ward Batman, Rafael Grampa, superstar artist, is bringing us his own take on the Caped Crusader in another DC Black Label title. This one is called Batman Gargoyle of Gotham. Going back to the roots of Batman in the earliest days of crime fighting, we're getting Rafael Grampa's version of what that looks like, and it is awesome. Super gothic, super stylized, has a lot of the same tones that the most recent Matt Reeves Batman film did. This is really wild. We have a new introduction of a character in this that's unique to this story, who Batman's on the case trying to stop the murders, comes face to face with him. He's a very unique villain, like tied to, like, his whole gimmick is like a teardrop and a hammer kind of thing. I definitely suggest you check this one out, just like that Christian Ward. Now, one might play stronger to another based on your artistic preferences, but both of them were good. Now, this is an oversized book, not in the prestige format. This will fit in your standard bags and boards, but it's thicker. You get a lot of bang for your buck with this one. I do believe it has like a $5.99 price tag or something like that, but it's a lot more comic book in it. Next up, we have issue 6, the finale to the first story arc of Jeremy Adams' Green Lantern run. Jeremy Adams really solidified his name as a modern day GOAT when it comes to comic book writing, because of his time on The Flash, and he moved over to Green Lantern after that. We have this first story with Hal trying to get used to being on Earth, used to being quarantined here, finding the new limits of his ring and what it means to be quarantined here, and still trying to, they hadn't really dug into it. He's going to have to figure out why the United Planets have quarantined the Lanterns of 2814. Also quarantined here is none other than Sinestro, who doesn't have a ring. He concocted a plan to try to come at Hal, attack him, and get his ring from him, only to find out that Hal does not have the traditional ring, but one constructed purely from his own willpower. Sinestro, being mad at all of his failures in this run, he just raged out, so much so that he tapped into the inner rage and channeled the red energy. Like the Green Lanterns run on willpower, Yellow Lanterns run on fear, the Red Lanterns run on rage, and now Sinestro is raged out. He is his own source of energy, so we're about to get to see hopefully a knockdown battle in this one. They're promising secrets revealed. We will see where it goes. I just know that I'm really excited for this. Jeremy Adams is crushing it, and that brings us to our next book, Philip Kennedy Johnson's Action Comics issue 1060. My God, I believe this is, I could be wrong, but I believe, according to my good buddy Paul Cook, this might be the last issue with Philip Kennedy Johnson at the helm. He's been on Superman for a few years now. He single-handedly brought this guy back to the front-running place at DC Comics after a lot of readers fell off during the Brian Michael Bendis era. But man, I'm going to be sad to see him go if this is the last one. And I know we're about to go out with a bang, because the whole premise of what's going on in Action Comics being very focused on the super family, they are dealing with this group called the Blue Something Cult, or it's a terrorist group that's coming into Gotham thinking that we don't need the superheroes. God, what is the Blue Planet group or something like that? It's bothering me now. I'm just brain farting on it. But they have the ability to strip the super people of their powers when they're kind of adjacent to them. Superman, having lost his powers, he reaches out for some help. And who does he go to? None other than Constantine, Etrigan, and Bloodwind, who we just got reintroduced to Bloodwind, and it's a new character. So it's like Bloodwind Volume 2 or Version 2. I'm very excited to dive into this. It's promising some multiversal action, which I always love multiversal hopping stuff. And there's a couple of backup stories in this, including Squad Dreams, which is a follow-up to the Metropolis Beast World tie-in, as well as something with Zod's kid. So we'll see what the backup stories have, but that main story is what I'm really excited about, as well as the future of Action Comics. I do know that Jason Aaron, who is supposed to be getting attached to it, he's a very prolific, famous modern Marvel writer who came in and he did that Batman Off-World, which was okay. Now he's about to be getting on Action, which is one of like my favorite titles that comes out every month. So I'm very nervous about where this is going to go, but I'm definitely going to be watching close and definitely reporting to everybody how it goes. Another one, just like modern awesome writers back to back here. From Jeremy Adams, Philip Kennedy Johnson. Now we have Detective Comics, written by Rom V. Best Batman title ongoing, period. Absolutely, period. Batman Outlaw has been the current storyline. And in that last issue, we've seen where the Orgum family is executing Batman in public, trying to take back over the city. And it's up to Catwoman and a couple helpers to try to stop it at the last minute. We saw them enact their plan in that last issue. We saw that they even got the help of Azrael. Azrael's back. Azrael's back in the Nightfall outfit even. Holy crap, it was an awesome moment. But the last issue ended with them dropping Batman on the gallows. So we're going to see if they successfully get him, which the solicitation for this one does say that he does die, but Catwoman might have had a trick up her sleeve. The whole cats have 9 lives. Maybe she figured out something for Batman. I cannot wait to get into this. I cannot wait to get this one in my hands. It'll probably be the first book I read this coming week. Rom V has actually got me just stoked, sitting on the edge of my seat, waiting to see what happens every time I turn the page. I don't know if it's the Azrael thing or if it's just like the suspense buildup that they've done with this. It's just been so good. Ridiculously good. And last one on the list for this week, and I got out of here without it being all DC Comics, we have Silver Surfer Rebirth Legacy, which is the second volume of the Silver Surfer Rebirth stuff, Volume 4. So this is one of the Marvel retro titles. This story takes place between the pages of the 1990 Silver Surfer run. We have Silver Surfer time hopping, trying to get his way back home, while a lot of the Infinity Quest characters, they try to figure out what's going on, only to find out that Mephisto has a plan where he wanted to steal the time stone, and that's what he's done. Flung Legacy one way, Silver Surfer one way, and now they're having to battle their way back. Silver Surfer ends up in the future in this one, meeting his girlfriend, Frankie there, only to know that Galactus is not far behind. So I'm excited to get into this one. These are just fun, short miniseries. You get in, you get out. They're definitely a blast. And that's going to be my top 10 for this week. I do want to know what you're looking forward to. Leave me a comment down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. I appreciate you watching this far. If you want to support the channel, consider picking up some merch down below or hitting that join button, becoming a Legionnaire, and getting in on some of the fun. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. And until next time, as always, we are Legion.